everyone, and welcome to my video where I get to demonstrate a lovely seaside town. I've just destroyed my pencil. I get to demonstrate a lovely seaside town called Dingle in the south of Ireland. And by demonstrate, I mean demonstrate painting it. Okay, so sharpen my pencil. Number one. Sorry, I should have had this done. Just want to get the end perfect. You know, it's been sitting inside a damp pencil case, so the wood has got kind of soft. Right, so a few weeks ago, I sent an email to all of you guys showing you a beach and a town in the south of Ireland, in Dingle. And the other one is not near Dingle, but it's far from Dingle. Anyway, I painted the beach and I asked you guys to do it. And some of you sent in some lovely videos, pictures and all kinds of examples of the beach that you painted. And also some of you painted the Dingle town as well. And some of them were really nice and some of them were amazing. And some of them were just a lovely expression of the artist that sent them. And they were all amazing. And now I am going to do a demonstration on that Dingle town scene, okay? So it's not often that I send out these free demos. It's only sometimes, and I'm feeling very generous. It's mostly my Patreons and members that get these videos because they pay. But it's good to it's good for me to let you guys know what I'm up to, and every now and again, I like to give out some free stuff like this. Okay, so I'm using a big sheet. Let me show you what the image is, so you guys can either screenshot it or you can go to the attached file. So here we go. Yeah, not bad, is it? Nice scene. Love the hills in the background. I love the, looks like my nose. Okay, enough joking around. So this is the scene. I love the hills in the background. They're in a nice soft haze. And then the sun's really hitting off those rooftops right down at the end of the street, you see? And the sun is hitting off the front face of these buildings as well, but it's not as bright as that one piece of sun that's reflecting off the very top building right at the end above the figures. You see the figures? I like that. So we have straight away our rule of thirds. Our hero of the show is this gentleman, and he is he's looking great, strolling up the street, wondering why I'm taking a picture of him. He's probably used to it because it is a very touristy town. And yeah, so we've got the darkest of darks, brightest of brights, you know, basic stuff now. You guys get that, don't you? You know, this is where the eye is going to settle in the painting. And then we've got all of these lines converging, leading us down there. And, you know, we've got these cars. I'm going to give the impression of them being there. I'm not going to go into too much detail. I'm not going to draw every single little line of that car. I'm just going to get in enough to let us know that there's a car there, and that's all, so that the viewer can use their imagination to fill in the gaps. That's what makes a painting exciting. Okay, so let's change the angle and give it a go. Okay, so I have my page taped down. This is, I don't know what size this is. It's 9, 18, 24 inch by 16 inch, something like that. Okay, so it's a big enough page. Half sheet, let's call it that. Okay, right, so the first thing I am going to do is I am going to put in the horizon. Now, because we're on the hill, we don't get the actual horizon coming off the sea. When I say horizon, I mean the eye zone, and I came up with that myself, eye zone. Okay, so you see the gentleman? See where his head is? That's where my horizon line is going to be. Okay, so I call it the eye zone. It's just to give us an idea of where he is going to be, what size he's going to be. So that's the top of his head there. And then let's make his feet around here. So straight away we've got ourselves an idea of where our figure is going to be walking, and then there's another figure behind. I'm not going to go into figures because I want to get in the big shapes, but now I can get the big shapes in now that I know where my figures are. Right? So we've got our lovely building here, and what's the name of this? Foxy John's. Foxy John's. Great pub. Full of characters. All of these guys in Dingle town are very characterful. I like this Centra sign here. Especially, or that bicycle sign is pretty cool as well. Can't get everything in though. It'll be too distracting if I put everything in. It'll be too, too much. But I'll get that central one, and it's got all the bits sticking up and around. I love all that. And then there's the windowsill there, and I like these handrails here. Well, that was a little bit high. Let's put them in a little bit lower. They're not actually handrails. They are to protect drunk people from leaning against the glass. No, maybe that's a bit too high. Let's make that down there and that there. So this is our door. So I'm just letting my pencil dance around the page. I'm going to move on now. I'm going to move on to, let's see, this is a lovely building that's catching the sun the most. And you see these buildings now, because you're on a hill and you're looking down, you got to get the perspective right. When I'm looking at the lines of the houses and the buildings, the lines are, just the signs underneath the windows, like this bit here, but on these houses coming up here, and they're all kind of at an angle like that. So let's see, well, let's just put in our footpath first, and that's kind of coming around like this. Look at these cars parking on the footpath. That's hilarious. Okay, and let's let's get in some of these bigger shapes in, and then we'll put in the houses behind. Now we might not get all the cars in, but we'll get a few. Okay, so this red car here, because our eye zone is around here, this car is just below the horizon, the eye zone. So let's just put in the window of the car, and then underneath the window we've got some wheels, and then there's this other van that's parked gracefully on the pavement, half on the pavement and half on the road, like a true Kerry man. Okay, and what else have we got here? We got this car. We've got the roof of this car. It's kind of coming down this way, and then the window is kind of coming like that. And I'm just putting in the bigger shapes first, like this might not even make it into the picture. We'll see. We don't know. And then there's another car here. It comes down and it goes down like that and over like that, and then disappears there, and then something like this. I'm destroying the looks of these cars. The designer of that car is going, no, those curves aren't like that. I'm sorry, designer. Okay. So down to the van here. There's a big van here. So he kind of goes up like that. He's got a bit of a big roof. Okay, and then our gentleman here has a car behind. Another one there. And then that disappears there. Okay, so now we can put in some of our buildings here. So let's just put down our big blue one here. So it's coming up a little bit, it's coming up to around here. Okay, we'll put him in first, and then we can work our way down and up the street now that we have that central one there. Okay, so they're all different sizes. I might press a little bit harder on the page so that you can see. And this one. Oh, there we go. I've broken my pencil again. Where did I put my... Okay. Okay, I'm back in action. And this house comes down here, one there, one lower, lower and higher. And this one's higher. And then they all give the impression they're kind of going up again. And then this one is really catching the light. That's going to be around here. Okay. And then I see I'm not going into too much detail. I'm in two minds whether or not I should do a value study. I might save that for my courses, my Patreon. I might just go freestyle for this one. And what happens if you do enough value studies, you start doing them in your head. You know, you do need to learn how to do a value study. But the main thing is if you don't do a value study, you do need to do one in your head. And because otherwise you won't really have a plan. There's this one. Look at this. Slightly smaller. And then this house here. Wow, there's actually another little house in between this crazy, beautiful town full of all kinds of houses, shapes and sizes. All right, now we are kind of getting there. This van looks like it's taking up a lot of the page. I may or may not keep him in. There is more cars here. So they are here. This one's coming up here. Then there's another one here. Okay. And then these beautiful hills. We could make this chimney a little bit taller. There we go. And then we got the hills coming up here. And then down. And there is some houses here in the distance and some fields. Okay, getting there. I'm not going to do too much more. Let's just let us know where the windows are. These ones are all too small, so I won't put in too many windows here, but there's windows here. 2, 3, 4. Here, and then our tiny little house. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's like 2 shops here. There's all kinds of cafes and kinds of touristy shops here. And here. I don't want to go into too much detail here because it's going to take away from our hero. Okay, so when we squint our eyes, you see the brights get brighter and the lights get really light, like the roof here of the house. That's already glaring. And we have, well, because it's a staccato image, which means that there's a lot of contrast, we have some dark, very, very dark darks and very, very light lights. Okay, so we know that most of this page is going to be the first wash. So we want to get that right, and then the rest then will be manipulating some of that first wash while it's still wet, and then we're going to let it dry, and then we're going to put in the second wash, which will be all of this. We're leaving some of the whites of the page or the first layer, and we get the shadow in. The shadow comes up here and over here. You get the point. Okay, let's get our brushes ready and get going. Okay, are we ready to freestyle? Let's do it. I'm using my big Hackhay brush. I don't know how to say it. Correct me in the comments. Is it Hake or is it Hackhay? Someone let me know, because I keep getting corrected different things on Instagram. Okay. Anyway, I'm using this wide flat brush, and I'm going to mix some cobalt blue and whatever's left, whatever gunk is left in my palette. There's all kinds of stuff. Just mix it all together. Really nice. Okay, start over here. Let's make it a little bit brighter, more water. What else? Yeah. Okay. Let's mix a little bit of yellow ochre. Maybe over here, like so. And then over here. Just let all that mix in. And there's some white hitting off some of these rooftops. So I'm going to leave some of them white. Most of this is going to be in the middle value. So let's leave a few whites on the windows, but let's just make a nice green, blue, more of a blue, yeah. Blue in there, and there. Let it kind of mix in. This is all going to be part of the middle value anyway. And then over here we've got some just very more just like more warm tinted paper than any color, you know, because it's just really glary. And so it goes, maybe this building is a little bit more bluer, and maybe some brights, and then maybe this house is a little bit more red, and there's some brights shining through. This roof here, did I drop a pencil? No, I didn't. This roof here is a bit more blue, and this one is really blue. Let's get, well, it's almost middle value actually, that roof. So we can just make that one dark, or else go over it when it's really dry. And then the front of that building is blue as well. And the roof is warm. You're just mixing up warm and cool a lot here, okay? And there's some of the rooftops here are just very bright. They're really getting the sun. Let's change the brush. I'm going to go to a slightly smaller brush here. My small high brush. Okay. Okay. Oh, so much fun. Okay. Let's put in, I'm going to put in a bit of lavender and a little bit of red for this building here. Where is he coming down? He's going to be here. There's going to be some buildings above it. Let's just put in some dry brush. There's lots going on there. We can't do all of that. There's too much stuff going on. We just want to go bleh, like that. That helps. That really does help. Then our buildings here. Let's keep working on those. We can get our little bit of yellow ochre. I'm more about just tinting the page a little bit than getting thick color down. I don't want to get thick color down just yet. Okay, there's cars here and stuff, and there's stuff catching sun, and then we're coming to the cars here, which are mainly just glistening, reflecting the striking sun. And then let's get our pavement in. A nice bright yellow ochre. And our figure. Not too worried about the figure because he's going to be all middle value. Connect that. Maybe we can go a little bit darker now as we get closer to the foreground with a bit of burnt sienna. Okay, these cars, they're all kinds of colors really, but mainly maybe cool, because they're in the shade. So let's start with this one. It's reflecting all kinds of sky. Again, we'll leave a little bit reflecting some of the sky, but at the moment I'm not too concerned about getting in those details, but let's just let that mix in a little bit, and then bring that wash down this window and this van, leaving a little bit of white of the paper. And yeah, that's all gonna be. We'll just let that work its magic. Maybe make this car a little bit red. Just put the undercoat, bit of pyrrole orange. A little bit here. Okay. Nearly got the first wash in. Let's get that hill in the background while it's still a bit soft. Use our big brush here. Oh no, my white walls. I've got my white walls covered in paint. Right, let's get some blue and yellow. Get that golden glow in the background. Let's do it. Bit here. We'll put that in after with a clean brush. We'll just get the big shape in. So I'll go across like that. And then this guy. Like so. That's our hill in the background. We don't want to do too much more to that. Maybe we can take out some clouds if it's still wet. Maybe it's a bit brighter here. Still a little bit wet. Damp, just a little bit. It's that sun. Yeah, get that glaring down. Okay, it's good, it's good. Okay, gonna let it dry now, and then we can put in our middle value, okay? Okay, so that's all dry now. And I'm gonna work on the shadows and kind of work from left to right. Okay, so I'm going to bear in mind that these shadows are lighter than these shadows. They're brighter. So I will keep that in mind as I mix. Gonna mix some cerulean, make a nice kind of a lighter wash. Maybe have a cooler wash on this side and a warmer one on this side. And just be loose and free. I'm using my big mop brush and have a little bit of fun. Okay. Make that a little bit bluer. Then there's these windows. A little bit of a chimney here. And up here. Now I'm not so much concerned about color more so than value, really. This chimney is a little bit darker. Just drop in some darker paint there. And then we've got some windows here. And there's some building kind of signs here. We're coming up to the cars that are going to be around here, so I've got a little bit of space. I'm going to work my way down. Let's go a little bit bluer for this building. There's just some lines going down here and a few more shadows here. Working my way across, a little bit of shadow highlighting that roof here. Let's see if we can connect as many of these shapes as possible. Keep working my way across. Seems to me as if I could put an awning in here. It's not actually in the photo, but create a little bit of variation by putting that in. Then we're coming up to our big building here, the biggest one. And then a bit of a chimney here. I'm literally just putting in the shadows. Let's change the brush a little bit for some of these shadows. I'm gonna get my little Chinese brush, this guy. And put in some of these windows here. And then there's more windows here. before that's totally dry, we can put in some darker bits, just to vary the look of the shape a little bit. There's a little bit of a pool here, so I'll soak that up. Maybe get some dry brush. Keep working our way down. All right. 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now, these buildings, they're more congested together, so I can almost merge them into, shapes. So, for example, I'll get my bigger mop brush and just vary some shapes. And like so. Vary the sizes as well. And then we've got our kind of pink house here, so I'm going to just mix a little bit of our red and blue. Isn't making a great pink, but it's better than nothing. And can I negatively paint around some of these cars? And our head is here. Go around our head of our man. The top of a car here. Okay. Right, well, it's still wet here. I'm going to go back and I'm going to get in some of our cars. Lots of angles here, so let's get those angles in just as many limited that doesn't make sense at all, as few strokes as possible. Okay, so small hake brush for me for this one. We've got our car. The roof of it is here. Okay. And then kind of comes over, and then got our other car here, which is a little bit darker. I'll add in a little bit of neutral tint. There's just these reflections from the house. But first, let's put in the roof. And the window. And the window here. Let's use a little bit of alizarin and ultramarine, a neutral tint. Get that window in. Get back in action. We're putting in some of our windows here. A little bit of red. This is in shade, so I don't want it too bright. But over here, it's reflecting some of this building here. So let's get that in to the top of our car. And this car, we can put in the window first. This window can be darker. It's got some stuff going on. And then we can darken up some of this window as well. It's all reflections here. I'm just looking to see what reflections are happening. Okay. There's a window here on a car behind. Okay, we're coming up to this car here. Try and keep it all one shape. There's the bonnet, the window, gonna darken it up a little bit here. There's the light. The car wheel. Darker points here and there. Windscreen wipers. And then some shadows. We're coming up to our van, but before we put the van in, let's put in some of these cars here. Put in too much. Right. This van, let's get some lavender for him. Then he kind of gets dark again as we get kind of closer. There's some of his window is here. And his wheel on the pavement, half on the pavement, half on the road. We're coming up to our red car now. You know, I'm not looking at an object as I paint and think, oh, that's a car. I'm looking at the shapes. I'm looking at the shapes and I'm hoping that they all tie up and read as a car. That's a bonnet. I make it a window. Yeah, I can make it anything I want. And then that's coming down here. Okay. What I want to do now is I want to put in the left side here and sweep that shadow across. I'm going to use my big mop. Put some of these brushes down and get some clean tissue ready. Okay. That centra sign. Let's put them up here. Like so. This building is a bit red, a little bit of pink, some shadow here, and then can work our way down. Make this more blue. There's some signs here. Okay, so we got door here. The window. Okay, let's start putting in our shadow going across here now. Gonna get a nice blue and a bit of burnt sienna. It kind of goes, his feet are here. So let's make it a little bit more blue now. And it kind of comes down here. Connects to these cars here, and there's a few patches here and there. Gonna darken it up as we get closer. This is all in shadow as well, so I don't want to leave too much. Just give the impression that there's some stuff going on there. Right. We are getting there. I think we can put in our man. So I'm always losing brushes. I'll just have to use this one. Okay. I'm going to give that a spray before it dries, just remind me in case I forget, okay? So our man is, let's get some yellow ochre for his face. The sun is reflecting off the side of his face, which is, I suppose, lighter on the left side. So if there was any sun reflecting, it would be there. This makes a nice kind of dark color. He's wearing a bit of a t-shirt. Now, then there's another figure here. He's just a little bit further away. Okay. Now we can put in a few little dark bits for our cars with this ready-made black, kind of dark, made out of alizarin crimson and ultramarine. Just some shadows and some wheels. Let's put in a few little dark highlights here and there. Where the lights are. It's kind of darker here. Right. So now it's just letting the brush dance around the page and not being too confined. If you see something, just get it in quick with a nice, meaningful, quick stroke. Some figures there. And there's some whatchamacallit, signs and shadows on some of these buildings here. Okay, try not to go overboard with the black, but get these posts in. We do want to get enough in to describe what's going on. See, I didn't really put too much in the fields in the background. There's enough going on. We have some lines, some telegraph lines going across, but I'm not too sure if I want to put them in. I do want to spray this before it gets too dry. Get our wheels in. Okay, don't want to do too much more now. My gut is telling me to stop with this brush. So what I might do is break some of these edges as the sun is coming down. Not too sure about this one either. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to get my rigger, which my favorite one is gone. I've lost it. Normally it turns up, but I have a feeling I left it on a pier that I was fishing on the other day, so I miss that guy. I have this guy though. He's a Da Vinci Colligno. Hope I said that right. Da Vinci Colligno. Okay, so there's some cables coming in here. Where do I want to put them? Let's load up some pigment and have a think. Well, there's some here. And there's some aerials. That's too wet. There's an aerial here. And there's just like loads of kind of don't know what they are. Old little lampposts. Flags. Don't want to do too much though. So this aerial, we could just make him go like that. Connect it up here. That's something. And some lines on the roof. Same here. Okay. so we know that that's an aerial. Okay, this car is my favorite so far. Put in a little steering wheel. Oh my god, it was my favorite. Look at that, that's not a steering wheel. There we go, it's a bit better. Look, it's reflecting something. That's what it's doing. You can always rub it off with your finger. Okay. Alright, I think we're nearly there, guys. I know there's some details here. Oh, that's still so wet. On a sign here. Gonna let it dry, and then I'm gonna put in a few more details with my rigger. Okay? Okay, so it's fully dry now, but what I want to do is I want to put in some more definition on this back hill, and that'll make these buildings pop a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to put in a glaze. I'm going to work my way down the page and put in, so I'm going to wet it pretty much. See how much water I'm going to use. Okay, that's probably a little bit too much. Okay, you get some tissue. Okay, so now I'm gonna get some green that I'm gonna mix with some ultramarine and some cadmium yellow, and I'm just gonna put in some of these hills here that have some sloping hedges in the background. So I can actually stop that there. And put in some of these. Let's put in a little bit more. Now it's just going to add a little bit more to the painting. Put some here again. So we want to make sure that the hills in the background are defined by using a milky consistency. And then we can keep adding them in here, because it's at an angle, the paint is almost dripping down. So we have to go thicker as it's drying and drop in those hedgerows. Okay. Going through lots of tissue here because it's a big painting. Okay, so straight away that's helping pop this area. I think I need to define some of this area. I think there's almost too much going on here. So I'm going to be a little bit bold, and I'm going to wet all of this area here again. Put a glaze over it. I want it to be kind of more blended in, more softer around here. Okay, so let's just throw that paper on, that paint on, and then it's going to soften some of these edges. This is all an experiment, watercolor. Sometimes that's what I'm doing here now. I want to soften these edges. It's too dark. There's too much light distracting from here. What's going on here? Okay. Let me smudge those edges a little bit. There we go. Is that going to create a little bit more atmosphere? Hopefully. Break up some of those sharp lines there. Okay. Now we're getting to our main star of the show, which is all around here. This is where we want the eye to lead. Over here, we're not too pushed. We can put in a few little darks for our cars again. That's fine. You know, all of these shapes here, as we work along here, if you look at the painting, this is all kind of cooler. If you were to look at this as all one shape. Okay. Do you get what I mean? Softening over here. Could almost soften some of this as well. Can darken up here. Just putting in some of the darker notes. Just because it is dark around here. Figure here, the left side, is it here? Okay, right. Dropping in just a few little darks where I see fit. I know I keep saying it. but it's the truth. This is still wet. Flags and stuff there. Okay, I think we are nearly done. I'm gonna let it dry again. Just can't stop. Those poles to stop people crashing in the window. Okay. Just define some of these rooftops here. Okay. Okay, let it dry again. Alright, so let me move this down a little bit more so you can see. I've just been all about blending in. This is fully dry now. I put a little bit of lavender in my flat brush, and I've just used it to highlight a few of these windscreens and to kind of dry brush, kind of like soften what's going on here in the background. There is some shadows here that I wouldn't mind getting in, and kind of sideways shadows. So I'm conscious that this needs to be a little bit darker here to help pop that chimney. Pop, pop. Chimneys here and here. And here, just putting in some kind of fake details. You know, this is where I want the action to be, so this is why I left this. I have the sharpest edges, the brightest light. There's a few reflections up here, but I don't want them to take from here, but I do want to, maybe I can make this shape a little bit more interesting by putting in some curves pointing down this way. Is this dry? It is. I could put in some lines here. I wish I had my needlepoint rigger for this. This'll do. This brush will do. Okay. What color are those lines? They're cooler. I don't necessarily look at colors when I'm looking. I look at the warmthness and the coolness, and these lines here, they are cool. Are they? They are cool. So let's make this a little bit cooler. You can always practice. No, this brush does not want to do what I want it to do. Let's try this one here. bit better. Alright. Get these guys in, a little bit of definition. I don't want to go too overboard. But we can put in just a few lines, a few doors. Where we see fit. Now, okay, but our point of focus over here, not so much back there, but I'd like to define that building, that roof a little bit more. Okay. Could put a little bit of gouache in where our guy is. Oops, dropped my pencil. Little bit of gouache where my guy is. Okay. Here we go. Oh. It's drying up. Oh no, there's some soft. I see I've lost the lid. Can't find the lid for my gouache. But if you dig a little bit inside underneath the dry bit, it's still nice. So you don't need to worry, guys, okay? So stop panicking. I can see you worrying. It's fine. I have my gouache. Okay. Just a little bit. Although I did leave a little bit around him. I don't need to put too much in. It's just where it's reflecting a little bit off his corner and maybe off some of these cars here. And here. Not too much. Just a little bit. Just a little bit closer and around there. Here we go. A few little sparkles here and there. Didn't hurt anyone. Okay. Don't want to go overboard. It's easily done. I think that'll do. Do I want to put my handrails in? 1, 2. Just in case there's anyone drunk leaning against the window, I want to give them a little bit of support. Okay. I think that's all I'm going to do, guys. Just pause it, and okay guys, so there we go. It's my finished painting of Dingle. I hope you like it. Well, actually, I don't mind whether you do or not. It was just fun to do. And yeah, if you guys haven't given it a chance to paint yet, give it a go. It's great fun. The main thing to focus on is blur out what's going on here. This is where we want the staccato, the sharp edges to be. Okay? So thank you very much. And we shall see you possibly again soon. Maybe, you never know, we get to paint sometime together on a workshop. There's my finished piece. And I shall now bid you farewell. Bye bye.